Other than the trailer for this podcast, this is the 7th episode that I've recorded. And I haven't really talked about myself that much, my background, my qualifications, why you should even be listening to me. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey there, it's me, Core. You're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. So yeah, I haven't talked about myself. I actually don't want this to be about me exactly. I want this to be about the ideas that I'm sharing with you. But you probably want to know a little bit about what makes me qualified to even talk about this stuff. So I've been a certified fitness trainer since 2013. I've been helping people realize their health and fitness goals even before that. I would help my friends, I'd help family, coworkers. I talked about fitness all the time. And I should have done this, become a trainer that is, right out of high school. My brother, who's 12 years older than I am, was already working out when I was a kid. And he took me to the gym one day, and I vividly remember it was an incline bench press. And when I was lowering that bar, I wasn't in control of the bar. It's not that it was too heavy, but anyone who's ever lifted weights for the first time, you know that there's a lot of stability that's required, and it's a skill. And I didn't have that skill I would have to imagine, how old was I? Maybe 12, 13 years old, maybe even younger. But anyway, I almost brought it right down on my teeth. It was in a little basement gym of the local racquetball court in town, a little town called Cranbrook in BC. And I thought it was pretty cool. And I really looked up to my brother and how strong he was compared to me. Remember, 12 years older than I am. So he was way ahead strength-wise. He was a man and I was a child. So you can imagine the disparity there. I didn't get into the weights immediately because I was too young to go on my own and I didn't have the money for it. But I played soccer. I did all the sports through school, through high school. And there was an incident with some of my peers when I was, I think, in grade 9. There was an activity day in which one of the options was to shoot arrows at a target with a bow. Whoever it was that brought the bows and the arrows in, as an example of a variety of bow, he brought a compound bow in. And that is quite hard to draw the string back, but once it's back, the pulleys system itself makes it quite easy to hold. So it starts off difficult, ends up easy. So you can hold it nice and long and sight something if you are using it for hunting, for example. Anyway, all my peers, my best friend at the time, our good friends, and some of the other boys that weren't really friends, but they were acquaintances in the same grade. And I thought, yeah, we're all equal here. Except the thing was, they could actually pull this bow and I couldn't. I was quite embarrassed by this. And I vowed then and there to get stronger because I thought I was strong, but turns out not as strong as I thought. So when I got into grade 10 and 11, I actually did start to lift weights at the school gym. And then eventually I joined a gym that was outside of the school. And that's when things really started to take off. I got bigger, I got more muscular, and fitness just became my life. I enjoyed it. At one point, I did some martial arts as well. I did 4 years of Wing Chun Kung Fu. Oh, I forgot to mention I was a gymnast for about 3 years, I think, somewhere around there, when I was in junior and in high school, competed provincially. What I'm getting at is that I've been exercising fairly seriously for a long time. Now it's been over 40 years. I'm 56 now. It's progressed over that time. At first, it was to bolster my self-esteem as a teenager, and then it became a more psychological practice. It got me through some dark times, and it kept me grounded when things were going really well, and I was getting maybe a little bit too full of myself. The weights will keep you humble that way. At least that's what it did for me. Now, I had other interests as well. I was into philosophy, psychology. I actually trained and became a certified hypnotist, and I did that for a while. And that ties into why I became a coach eventually. Instead of thinking of myself as just a trainer, a fitness trainer, I consider myself a fitness coach. And a big part of that is that when I was a hypnotist and I was helping people stop smoking or helping them with their poor eating habits, it was still very health and fitness oriented. That's how I kind of approached my hypnosis. But what I found was that people were coming in thinking that I would just fix them, like it was some magic power that I would have. And I would always have to explain, no, actually, this is you doing this. Your thinking, your imagination, driven by your own intention to be the person that you want to be. And I thought, I don't want to do this anymore because it's them, the client, that is doing it. Very similar to fitness training. As the trainer, I can help you, but you do the exercise. You build the strength. You become more flexible. So finally, I just thought, I don't want to be a trainer. I don't want to be a hypnotist, just telling people what to do. I actually want to help coach them so that they realize that they're making the choices. And my entire philosophy of fitness and being a trainer and being a coach changed. When it became that philosophical practice, that was when I realized that my message had to change. And here we are. That's broad brushstrokes, little quick history. So I do have credentials as a certified fitness trainer. That was through American Council on Exercise, by the way. I went through another program that they have called Behavior Change Specialist. And I took another course called the Certified Brain Health Trainer. However, I think my most important credential is that I've been training myself, exercising for over 40 years. I live my message. I have a deep love for the fitness and the health industry itself. And I can talk about this daily, as you are beginning to find out, because here we are again. That's it for today. Catch you next time.